good afternoon. This is Houndog Steve wishing you a very pleasant late afternoon actually, and this is just a little vlog update from my new location. And as you can see from the background, I am down by the lake, and so I'll just give you a little pan around and maybe walk down the trail a little bit, and we'll have a chat as we go along. Okie dokie, here we go. So this is the lake at the bottom of the property. And here we have the geese coming in for the evening. Boy, they sure are noisy. So here is Jasmine's new pal. This is Murphy. He is such a handsome dog. He's got such a wonderful temperament. He is the kind of farm dog that everyone should have. Now it'll be interesting to see actually what comes in here this evening, because we have a couple of trumpeter swans on this lake, and they won't be around very long. They'll be departing for Georgian Bay very shortly. But yeah, this is an absolutely gorgeous property. I've landed safe and sound, and everything is going well and settling in. I got my office set up, so I'll be able to edit this video and upload. And they also have Starlink here, and so it should be a quick, or certainly quicker upload than I was getting on the 10 megabytes from ExploreNet. And anyway, there are some great trails on the property, and of course the dogs just love. Jazz is settling in. Yeah, they run around together. Murphy was having a bit of a problem keeping up at first, but he has trimmed down a little bit with these walks that we've been taking. This here is a beaver dam, which of course you can see is a little damaged, and we will be getting on that this summertime when the water levels really drop off. You can see that they're already down quite a bit, but they've come up about 2 feet since we've had all of this rain. We've had relentless rain for about 2 or 3 days, and it's going to continue on for the rest of the week. But yes, we will be getting in and blocking this dam up and raising up the water level. It is deep enough to keep fish, and we're thinking to stock this with either jumbo perch, something like that, a hardy northern fish that doesn't require a heck of a lot of oxygen. That's one of the big issues in the wintertime here, is a lake like this will freeze up quite a bit, and you get limited oxygen. And unless you've got those nice low pockets to hang out in to get them through the rest of the winter, they will struggle. So I don't know whether tilapia would survive in this temperature of water, but that's another possibility. Anyway, I have seen minnows, and it is fed up at the end there by a creek, about the size of the outflow here from the from where the beaver dam has broken down. But it's a wonderful mix of hardwoods and softwoods. And I'm going to see if I can post a picture on this video. What we've decided is going to happen is we're going to buy a 40-foot container, sea container, and convert that into a tiny home. And one of the reasons for that is it's a pre-built structure. It's a great start for any kind of building, very, very solid, and it doesn't need any kind of permits because it is of course movable. So this is a little further down from the beaver dam, and yes, this turns into a meandering wetland, but you can see the size of the creek. It's not a bad size. It's probably about 10 to 15 feet across. Like I say, it's very swollen right now from the rain, but yes, good flow of water. It's just a gorgeous property. nicely contoured, and you may not be able to see because they're just starting to leaf out. These are all raspberries and blackberries, so we're going to have a good raspberry and blackberry feast this summertime. Anyway, getting back to the trailer or the container, yes, it's a nice start, and you can insulate it. A 40-foot trailer, wow, 40 foot by 8 feet, that is a lot of living space. And you put a small deck not attached to the side of this with a mudroom or something, or just a little cover. Yep. Oh, there it is right there. I don't know if you can see it, these things are pretty damn quick. She is just fascinated by squirrels. They could captivate her for the whole day. Anyway, the price is right. We're probably looking, I don't know, maybe $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 completely done with a bedroom and a kitchen. And as I say, you know, if the location proves to be not good, I mean land-wise, it's easily moved. You can drag it onto the back of a trailer and, yeah, pop it somewhere else, or use a crane or whatever they use down at dockyards. So it seems to be a good fit all round, and we will be moving ahead with that as soon as things dry up. Speaking of locations, I was back at the previous place at the centre this afternoon. Quite a busy day. The plumber was there doing the final, you see how wet it's been, doing the final fittings to the heating system. But I wanted to go and check the ground because the sea container has to come out of there, and I think, as you saw in the last video, the trencher had been in and done some digging for the well lines, and he just backfilled tonight, and oh my god, it is like soup. He figured there'll be nothing of any serious weight going in there for 2 weeks to a month if it stays dry, and we've got another week of rain to come yet, so the sea container will probably have to stay put for the time being, but that's okay. It's locked up, it's not going anywhere, and it's not in the way of the new owners, so that won't affect anything at all. So that is quite a pleasing note. Other than that, I am completely enjoying the move. Jazz seems to be settling into the situation. It says she's got a new playmate to hang out with, which is just great. And of course, we are watching the events of the world unfold. It's sort of become a movie screen, hasn't it, with all of these things? It's hard to keep track of any particular event. They just, wow, they're here and then they're gone. I hardly hear of anything about Ukraine anymore. How about that? I mean, this was a major thing. COVID's virtually disappeared, although they are talking about the MP, you know, the chimpanzee pox. But yes, it's interesting how the news just keeps rolling along as if nothing had happened. And our Prime Minister gave a speech down in New York in which he said that he hadn't coerced anybody to take a vaccination. And I think that's kind of an interesting statement that he should have made. I wonder what the people who lost their jobs because of the vaccination think about that statement. Yes. And rather interesting, England has now issued a statement that anybody under the age of 75 does not need to get the vaccination. And so that's a huge turnaround. That's a 180-degree turnaround on their position, their original position. So we've gone from you'll lose your job if you don't do it to, oh, that's okay. You don't have to trouble yourself. It's fine. So it looks as though that is going to take a while to be resolved. We do have the National Citizen Inquiry going on right now in Canada, which is absolutely amazing. This is being started up by Preston Manning, a previous leader of the Conservative Party, and he is collecting evidence from every province of people who were affected by the circumstances of the last 3 years. And it's almost like a truth and reconciliation trial that they had in South Africa after the end of apartheid. And anyway, the truth is coming out. Honest people, you can see by the people giving testimony that they are honest, straightforward, forthright, and decent people. You know, I remember listening to an aid worker in Africa who was dealing with refugees coming in from, I forget the situation, but it was awful, you know, it was abusive and so on and so forth. And anyway, the interviewer was saying to this person, well, how do you know these stories are true? And they said, well, you know, when we start to hear stories, the same story, the same kind of story, the same kind of pattern from people who could not have seen each other or conferred or shared information, we start to realize that is actually the truth. And this is what is going to happen, because all of these people are unrelated, unconnected, and they are all telling a similar story of being literally abused by their own government if they didn't comply. So these things do take time, there's no doubt about it. And if we look back over history, you know, we've had trials before. It took a little while for the truth to seep through, but more and more people are not believing the mainstream media or their own government. So there is hope. There is hope, my friends. It's going to be a bit of a path, and it may feel like walking in the wilderness at times, but there you go. Sometimes you just got to go through that. Sometimes you just got to go through that. It's a lesson. It's a lesson in life. You know, I often harken back, I don't know whether I've told this story before, but you know, my parents, they were there at the beginning of the Second World War. And you know, one day they were planning a marriage, and the next minute, you know, beyond all possibilities, my dad was enlisted in the Royal Navy and my mum was making 7mm shells. I mean, what a shock to the system. And I guess I'm saying that because for some reason throughout history these things happen, and there's a whole bunch of people like you and I who are caught in the crossfire. And other than speak up, keep speaking your truth, living your life, moving forward, making the plans as best as you can. There's no other way around except to walk through it. Just like this. You just got to walk through the water or the mud. Take your pick. So I would encourage you all to stay strong, stay true to yourself, and things will work out the way they're going to work out. Here we are coming up on the property. The hoop building you can see in front is a greenhouse. The lower part is a chicken pen. It's a big greenhouse. It's about 20 by 25. You can grow a lot of good things in there. And just over there, believe it or not, to the right of and behind that sea container you can see is where we're going to put my tiny home. What the heck is that? Sunshine? Sunshine coming through the clouds. Oh my God. Well, I hope this all finds you well, and I would like to thank you so very, very much for following me, supporting me. I still get some donations. A special hello goes out to Felix. I am so glad that my video on negotiation helped you through your difficult situation, and that it turned out hopefully to be very, very positive, because I know you were struggling a little bit there. It's always difficult when someone digs in their heels like that, but so good to hear from you, Felix, and I hope you stay well, and we'll talk very, very shortly. And to the rest of you, thank you again so much. I appreciate your support and staying interested in my small story, my small adventure as surviving the crap of the last 3 years. And of course I will be doing updates on the how we renovate this container, because I think that's going to be an interesting prospect too. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe below, and in the meantime, this is Houndog Steve signing off, wishing you a very pleasant afternoon. See you now. Bye.